Hello, everybody. This is Chris, one of the co hosts of Jerks Talk Games. I want to apologize for the audio quality of this episode. We figured we would put it out just in case anybody did want to actually listen to it, but we're going to release this alongside episode 14, which is us talking about E3 coverage. If you want to go ahead and skip this episode, feel free. It doesn't sound super great, but hey, if you like listening to us talk, it's available. Otherwise, go ahead and skip past this and head on over to episode 14. Thanks, and again, we're sorry for the quality. On this episode of Jerks Talk Games, we talk about video games. I know, shocker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode, unlucky for some, 13 of Jerks Talk Games.
It's 12.
I'm Gary Hockin.
It's episode
I believe
12.
it's 13.
No.
Isn't episode 12 non-released?
No, that's the Switch episode. It's not released, but it's good job.
Wait. Like jerkstalkgames.com. I checked this. We can go again. It's fine. It can come out in the edit. And
Oh,
I
no,
hope
you're right. It
nobody's
is
actually...
13. I'm wrong. Leave it in. It's
Boom!
fine. I was wrong. Proof that I was wrong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unlucky for Chris Tankersley, episode 13 of Jerks Talk Games. My name is Gary Hockin, and with me, as always, is my good friend Chris. How are you doing, Chris?
Well, not so great. I've already screwed up what number episode we're on. So.
It's all good. So, yeah, this is the first time that we've actually recorded an episode without releasing the previous episode, which I am not blaming you for at all, Chris. I know you're busy, and that was not sarcastic.
Totally my fault.
But I totally understand it. So yeah, we're gonna try and streamline the editing process and how we get these out. But it's all good. So today we have nothing to talk about, which is interesting itself.
Which works out great because we have 0 live viewers, so we'll just end it here and then.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, it's worth mentioning that we've put the live stream, we've put the Hangout we use to kind of record these on air, thinking that maybe people would want to watch and ask us questions, and it turns out that nobody wants to watch and ask us questions. So that's good.
We could also, tweet the link, which would probably be
helpful. Yeah, that works. So while you're doing that quickly, so today we're going to talk about what we've been playing recently, because I've been playing sort of something that's kind of a big game, and I have no idea what the games Chris has on his list are. So this should be at least interesting enough. And we've run really long lately, so this should be a shorter episode, which is going to be better for some and worse for others. But do you want to take them one at a time, Chris, and I'll go first? Or would you like to go first? Or how does this work?
I have 3 games, so I should probably go first.
Well, that works.
That way it flows much better and we sound slightly more professional. So probably the first one, the one I was actually probably playing most recently was Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers, which I'm guessing means this is the last release of Street Fighter 2. So this is the new version that's on Switch. I picked it up last week. Yeah, Friday or Saturday or something like that. And it's a slightly updated version of the HD remix that they did for PS4 and Xbox. So like with a lot of the HD remixes that have come out recently, you get better graphics, you get better sounds. The gameplay itself is pretty much untouched. The only thing I do not like is that unless you have a Pro Controller, it is impossible to use the Joy-Cons as a D-pad. You can't slide. You can't slide on those little buttons that they give you.
Yeah, I guess.
Because the left-hand Joy-Con doesn't have a D-pad. It just uses the buttons as the D-pad. Now, the joystick works pretty well. I don't like using thumbsticks for fighter games. I'd rather have like an actual like fighter stick for that. And so the joystick itself is okay, but the buttons themselves just do not work. My kids are loving it. My oldest son has been playing. He actually takes the Switch upstairs to his room to play it. The only kind of exposure they've had to Street Fighter is We had Street Fighter Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition for the Genesis. So that's the only Street Fighter they've ever seen before this. So they love the updated graphics and all that.
This is another point where I put my hands in the air and say, like, I never played Street Fighter on console. Like, used to play it arcade, Street Fighter 2 on the arcade all the time. I loved it. Never played it on a console ever. Just not my cup of tea, these kind of fighty, biffing games. But I think that I may actually get... I mean, it depends. The games on Switch are like minimum $20, right? Even though it's in remake of a game from 1744 or whatever it is.
Yeah, so this one's $40 for what
Jesus Christ.
for what you get with it. It's probably not worth it unless you love Street Fighter. Wait until it's on sale, or you can find like a used copy. The HD graphics are okay. I still run it generally in the pixelized ones because I think they look better that way. The hand-drawn stuff that they added for the HD remixes scales much better, obviously. But the new sounds I don't prefer to I don't like any better than the old sounds. For $40, the only kind of thing you get is this mode where you can take the Joy-Cons and actually like do moves like Ryu. So you can do like so you can do Hadouken by like pushing both the Joy-Cons forward. You can do the Shoryuken by doing an uppercut, and then you can do the spinny thing that I can't remember the name of. That's it. And so you get waves of enemies coming at you, and you can do that, and it's kind of cool, but it's not worth $40 probably.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean,
so I would definitely say wait till unless you love Street Fighter 2 and you're constantly getting that kind of stuff. Wait till it goes on sale. If you want an HD remake, Wonder Boy is a much better remake.
I'm excited for the remake of Wonder Boy, as we talked last month in the unaired episode, which will be aired by the time this is released. I shouldn't say that. I'm really excited for the remake of Wonder Boy, but because I loved Wonder Boy, like, I really liked it. I can't wait for that to come out. Like, and it's been so long since I played it, I've forgotten the nuances of the game. So yeah, really excited for that.
Yeah, I feel like Wonder Boy was more of a labor of love, and Street Fighter was more of, ooh, we can release this on a new system that has some power.
Yeah, people will pay $40 for this tat. Let's get it out there.
Some of us will. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing you. I've paid $20 for tat this week myself, which brings us beautifully on to no, it's not tat. That's not fair. That is not fair. And so, contrary, the current trend of the current trend of releasing partly completed games or games which are completed in as much as you can play them but don't have all the game mechanics. So I'm thinking of how Minecraft was first released. I'm thinking of Factorio, which is a game I've mentioned a billion times and I love. So I was advised to try Oxygen Not Included, which is a really intriguing game on Steam. I think it cost me around $20, and it's a pre-beta game. And I played it for about an hour and really enjoyed it and should have come back to it, but then I bought the other game that we're going to talk about shortly. So I kind of there was nothing wrong with the game, but it's really intriguing. So it's a sideways type strategy-ish game where you have 3 clones who will do things for you. So you tell them to dig this, a bit like you do in Minecraft to get resources, build here, but you don't do it yourself. You control your clones and new clones come in. And it's a bit partly resource management, partly building, partly managing which of your clones are going to do certain jobs. One of them's got to be like cycling on a bike to generate power while the other one's making food and the other one's emptying this and collecting that. So it's one of those kind of you can micromanage or not type games, but I really, really enjoyed it. And it's intriguing pre-alpha with not all the game mechanics in. There's not a lot of combat from what I can see at the moment, but combat looks like it'll be something they'll be bringing in later. So really intriguing. Really, really, really polished, like really well done. Very distinct graphical and sound style already in the game. So I think it's going to be a cracker, to be honest. I think when it's great already with the limited mechanics. So with all the mechanics in, it's going to be something really cool.
Yeah, I've been waiting to pick this one up. The developers of this also did Don't Starve. Have you played that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have played Don't Starve. Yeah.
So I don't have any worry that they won't be able to deliver on this. The last time I looked at it, the mechanics weren't super fleshed out. So like you could play like 3-4 hours and then it just became very repetitive.
Yeah.
But that was month and a half ago, 2 months, like right after it like first released in alpha. So it is an incredibly intriguing kind of gameplay because you're constantly digging, trying to figure out how am I going to run pipes, how am I going to pipe oxygen from one place to another, water from one place to another. I was watching one video, they were trying to make a toilet system and ended up just like flooding the whole base because it was very, very easy to do. And some of the things are obtuse, but again, it's an early alpha game. But this is what I may wait till it's all finished, but I think it should be a very nice game based on the work that they've done with like Don't Starve.
I think that it's almost like Don't Starve, but without the horrible open-ended sandbox world that Don't Starve had, which is one of the problems of Don't Starve, is it's almost too open-ended in a weird way, because I know that's like the whole premise is it should be open-ended. It should be a sandbox game where you make your own fun. But this is like a few constraints put on you. The world is a specific size. It's not like doesn't go on forever. I don't think it may go on forever, but it doesn't. It encourages you to kind of build within your means to start with, if that makes sense. You just, Don't Starve. I had no idea what I was doing. I just wandered for like 20 minutes in one direction, which was kind of the charm of it. Yeah, but it was kind of the charm of it. But then it's like, oh, there was a thing 10 minutes to the left that I didn't pick up, and now I need to go back and get, I guess. You know, that was the problem. So I don't think you'll have that kind of problem with Oxygen Not Included. And as with Don't Starve, whatever you say about Don't Starve, it had its own graphical style and it had its own identity. And I think that Oxygen Not Included definitely has that. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to pick that up. So I will be interested to hear how you like it after you've played it a little bit longer. So then the other game that I've been playing that I also picked up recently is Sniper Elite 4 for PlayStation 4. So this came out earlier this year, so it's been out a while, but it's still relatively new. So the Sniper Elite games are pretty much you are a sniper, you get dropped in and you shoot people with a gun from very long distances away. So Sniper Elite 4, you're dropped into a lot of these are Italian-based missions. So World War II, you're shooting Nazis. The really cool part about it is it has actual kind of sniper mechanics. So you have to take into account distance, wind, how much of a drop off you're going to have, and you've actually got to estimate that. So it's not just like that guy's really far over there, get him in the crosshair and fire. You've actually got to think about it a little bit, and there are things you can turn on to make it easier. But then they also have this kill cam view where if you shoot somebody, it does the Mortal Kombat like zoom into their insides thing and shows what happens when the bullet hits them. So it's super gratuitous and super over the top, but it makes up for the fact that you might be sitting in place for 5 minutes waiting for that perfect shot.
I'm so again, with you like to play the truck game where you have to like drive from A to B and stop at a diner and fill your truck up with you like these kind of realistic ones. But I'm wondering, given that real snipers will lay in position for like 3 or 4 days and defecate where they lay rather than give up the shot, I'm wondering how realistic this game actually is. So
it is a very slow paced game, I will give it that. I am 4 hours into the first level and still not done.
Have you shot anyone yet?
Oh, I have shot tons of people. There are so many.
Oh, that's good. That's fine.
So many dead Nazis laying around. But it rewards you for playing slow. It is not a run and gun type of game.
No, that's cool. That's fine.
I mean, I spent there was one part where I spent a half hour camping in a barn, just picking people off, so that way it was easier to get through what I had to move up the road later. So, but there's a lot of like, how far away is this? If you miss, they get really angry and they can figure out where you're at. So you have to like run back and hide and do a whole bunch of stuff. So it rewards you for playing safe and playing slow. And it's still easy enough to pick up and play. Like, I'm going to play this level for another 15-20 minutes and then go do something else. So far I've been really enjoying it. It'll be great once I am past level 1, the first level. But
yeah, that will be great, right?
Yeah, but overall the game is actually really, really fun, I'm finding.
It sounds full to me, you know, with zero patience in life. This, like, I would just be like, I'll just lay in the middle of the road, and if any cars come, fine, it'll be okay. You know, I can't be done with that. But you know, I'd be tempted to have another go. Have a go. Is it like a brand new, or is it sale, or is it?
No, it's fairly new. So like, I still ended up paying for it full price. Sniper Elite 3 is pretty close if you want to get an older version. But yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm sure come this summer sale, Steam will have it on for fairly inexpensive.
I'm wondering if I buy it and stream the rage in my mind as I have to lay there for 10 minutes and wait for the perfect shot. Yes, maybe there's a side project there for me somewhere, or side away from the podcast for Jerk Stock. But hey, we should give that a go for sure.
I think I did set up a Twitch channel, so you can stream it on Twitch.
We should. I mean, there may be some entertainment there. There may be some entertainment. We'll see. Yes. So that does sound pretty cool, actually. By the way, you make that clear. Even though I'm taking the mic, because I'm guessing it's one of those where you can play it like a buffoon if you want to just get through the game just fine.
They will shoot you. You will get mobbed by Nazis and die. You have to play it. There is no running gunning in it.
Okay.
You're a sniper, not a Duke Nukem.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. We'll see what we can do there then. I'm still tempted just to see how angry it makes me. Then there's got to be some value in why. So the big game that I've bought, I really have no idea what prompted me, because I was at the moment we discussed this game in our what we're looking forward to in 2017 episode, and we've mentioned it in the other episodes. I wasn't going to play full price, but I ended up buying Mass Effect Andromeda. Despite its meh reviews from some channels, it's had good reviews in some places, but it's had some meh in other places. Yeah. It's absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I'm really glad I bought it. I paid like £55, like the $70 for the one where you get free armor to break the game and stuff. So I've really enjoyed it. Everything that has been a negative in the reviews has probably been positive for me. It's a lot less management type than the other games, where the other games you could specifically tell your companions to use their power at the right time to make combos and stuff. Now they just either attack or they don't. Either they move to tell them, or they use their AI, to move to where they think they should go. And for me, that really opens the game up a bit. It actually makes it more interesting, because my job to see what powers my companions did to make the combos, rather than me tell one of my companions to use that power and then tell another one to use it, and then the combo's made and you get like a big boom. now it's my job to build my character and build my team so I can do things. And I think it's a better game for that. I've really enjoyed it. Absolutely. The content. I mean, Origin says I've been playing for 49 hours. That's a lie, because I always tend to leave my game on and paused, like when I'm not playing, so I can just dip in and dip out because I've got a PC I play on. So I've been only being half that, I guess, but I'm really enjoying it. The combat's great. It's like furtive space is great, you know, like Dragon Age and all the other Mass Effect. It encourages you to to have relationships with your NPC, which is really weird when you think about it, but that's part of the game. And if you're a heathen like me with no patience, you don't have to do all of the stupid side projects which just involve into loads of people. You could just go and do the run and kill people missions. So really enjoying it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. Like a lot of the side quests end up just being fetch quests or like scanning quests. So like just go here and scan these 10 things, and you just run around the map scanning things and then go back. And it's, you know, those I don't find terribly fun either. But from a lot of the Let's Plays I've watched, that it does seem that the story gets better over time. So, and that could be a downfall of the actual like reviews, is, you know, they didn't play the entire thing through or something like that. They played the first 10 hours or so, and I think it picks up a lot more after that. They did come out with some patches that fix some things, so the animations are slightly better. Some of the things I know that was annoying watching like Let's Plays was waiting for the zoom in effect as you traveled from thing to thing. They got rid of that. So I think it's I may actually pick this up once I get some time, but I'll definitely wait till it's on sale where I can pick it up for cheap, like a cheap used copy. It does look very intriguing though.
The stories are amazing. The like overall premise is that you've just you've just gone through 600 years of stasis through dark space, get to this brand new sort of galaxy where there and say there's some habitable planets. So the story's really good, making new races ever interacted with you, trust you, and this I really am enjoying the story. And normally I don't really pay a lot of attention to series, as you know, and listeners who've heard me on here before. I like have no patience for lore and all that stuff. Next. What do I need to do to complete the mission? But the stories are really good. And the other thing which I like about Mass Effect, it's not only Mass Effect games, but they do it well, is it does give you like moral choices that impact the game later on. So you can either rescue a load of thousands of people who are imprisoned, or you can blow the base up and kill the bigs, you know, but you can't do both. So you have to make a decision. Save the lives or the greater good, you know that. So, but it's really clever the way they've done it. So I'm really in it. I've taken the planets out of order apparently, but it is world games, so it made no difference. Which is, I think, why some of the reviews were poor, because they just did the planets, they did Eos, and then they did the jungle planet, and those two planets are very samey. Whereas because I did the ice planet in between. Going back to the jungle, it was like it doesn't tell you what you should do. I didn't do it deliberately. I just I fancy this mission. Let's go and do that. And so for me, I didn't get the sameness of, because apparently those two planets are like the tutorial planet and then the easiest planet, and then you move on. So I did them in the wrong order. Yeah, but they're completely different in graphics, but they're very similar in missions, gameplay. So I didn't see any of that because I didn't do them in the right order, which is cool. Worked well for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the downside to open world games, is depending on your path through it, kind of colors how well you like it or not. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, from what I have seen, the planets are pretty varied. But if you go from one jungle planet to the next, those two things are going to look pretty similar.
It's Yeah, it's not that the world look the same. It's because there's none of the look the same from where I.
Mhm.
It's that they played the missions were similar because it was the EOS. It kind of your hand and guides you through everything, and then it says, and your first open world planet. But by the way, it's a planet and it's very small, and we're not really letting you go anywhere. We're just giving you the illusion that this is open world, and then it's like, okay, now go wherever you want. Well, I didn't do it that way. So I dropped straight in the deep end on the ice, Void or something, whatever it's called. But that was fine because I've played the games before. It didn't give me any kind of problems. That first 10 hours would be those two planets, which I can understand why people are like, God, this isn't for me. This is so tedious. I've got to run from here to here. You don't need to run in the later planets. You've got your little car, and you can fast travel. And bigger planets are actually easier to navigate, ironically. So
yeah, the Nomad does open up
really interesting. Honestly, I'm glad I paid. I don't feel like I wasted the $70, which is the best testament I can give to it. Yeah, I'm
cool.
pretty happy with that.
Nice. Well, so going back in time, then I have been playing. With going to PHP Tech and traveling this last week, I've been replaying Europa Universalis 4, which is again one of those very slow games and lore heavy games because it's based in actual history that Gary will not like. But it's one of Paradox's grand strategy games. So the idea is you take control of a country and you are guiding its like exploration and like negotiating and like trying to fight and take over other countries. But it's all set in like the 1400s, 1500s, and I think 1600s is as far as it goes. So like I've been playing as Castile, like before that whole region turns into Spain, and not having a very good time at it because I seem to do worse at the political game than I do the genocidal kind of take over all of the family game that is Crusaders King 2. So Castile is doing okay right now. We're mostly on our way to forming Spain. I've still got to take out Aragon, I think it is, figure out a way to get rid of them. But it's very much a political game. So you have rivals. You can do things like piss them off by blockading their ports, making the Pope happy, or trying to influence the Pope in ways to make them do things that you want. So like right now, I actually have control of the papacy. So if I wanted to, I could make them start a crusade, which can be kind of cool, which is useful. Well, so what I am waiting for is France is one of my rivals. I want them to join the crusade so all of their armies go do that, and then I can invade them because I have claims against some of their provinces, and then they can't defend it because all their people are over at are over wherever we get the crusade to go. But it's definitely a very political game. If you played any of the Paradox games like Stellaris or anything like that, it's along the same lines, but set in the early kind of age of exploration. It's been a while since I played, so I'm playing that kind of. Castile is the little kind of starter nation, just to get back into it. I'm watching one playthrough where they did a bunch of Asian stuff. So one of the guys is a steppe nomad, the other one's just a little Southeast Asian country, and they're trying to they have to deal with like the Ming Dynasty. So it's fun, but it's fun in that kind of political, like I really want to screw with countries kind of way, and I'm probably going to end up losing my country in some way, shape, or form in the next 100 years or so.
Sounds true. I mean, I can understand. This is why I like talking to you about games, because we have such different differences of opinion, and it makes it interesting.
On the upside, it doesn't make me feel like a horrible human being, unlike Crusader Kings 2, where I'm like trying to Google what's the best way to send a son off to war so that he gets murdered so that he doesn't take over the family. So
what's the in real life type thing, like not googling about the game, just googling what's the best way to send my son off to war? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had let's see if I can find it here. I had toyed with doing a joke Twitter account. So let's see. One of the
While you're
one of the-
finding it, Man check, roll check asks in chat. Are you playing with the Man with the Mandate of Heaven expansion?
No, I am only playing with 3 or 4 of the older ones that I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I've got Rights of Man. Let's see, what do I have? I have, I think, Common Sense, Rights of Man, and Art of War, and El Dorado. And
Just words to me.
Well,
That
so
should answer Chuck's question.
yeah, so with a lot of the Paradox games, the expansions, the base game itself is kind of bare, but the expansions add on specific things for like making certain countries more playable or adding new mechanics. So like Art of War changed how some of the war stuff works. If you get Wealth of Nations, which I think I also have, it changes how trading works. Trading becomes much more of a viable option. Cossacks adds more Eastern European stuff if you want to play as those. So they just kind of go through and they enhance the game, but you don't have to have every single expansion pack because that gets quite pricey. I do have all the expansion packs except for Men and Mystics, which is the newest Crusader Kings 2 expansion pack. But I think I have most of the base ones that kind of enhance the game in good ways without getting into the country specific ones for Europa Universalis. But some of the things that I Google when I am playing as when I'm playing Crusader Kings 2. So can I make a bishop? Can I make someone a bishop if I kill his wife first? Because bishops can't be married. Baby gifts for when I'm the father and the grandfather, because that is something you can do. Ooblet decoration tips.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, like Crusader Kings 2 is like Crusader Kings 2 makes you feel like a horrible human being as you're Googling trying to, because it's a people based game, so you have to deal with people. I'm not a good people person.
We know. No. We know. Yeah. So the only other couple of things I wanted to talk about. I promised Scoop that we would talk. Scoop on Twitter asked us to mention Prison Architect. I own Prison Architect. I haven't played it for ages. You?
Same here. So we'll talk about it at a later date.
Cool. So that's mentioned. That's Prison Architect mentioned. The other thing that we on Twitter, because we only have 5 listeners, we're lucky that they all get personal service. So Chuck again asked, talk about the lost art of LAN parties. This is something I don't mind mentioning quickly. Did you ever go to a fully fledged LAN party, Chris?
Not really, but where I grew up, a lot of people did not have PCs, like big expensive PCs and stuff like that. So organizing LAN parties was kind of a pain. I get the appeal of it, especially like back in the Quake and Doom eras, where you could not play online. That was just impossible, because modems just were not quick enough to handle 5-6 people. We did during high school take over the media center, one of the rooms, and we installed Unreal Tournament on all the Macs, because Macs could actually run Unreal Tournament, and we would play those during lunchtime because we figured out the admin password. So we would do what amounted to a LAN party at lunchtime, but that's about as close as I ever got to it. It's kind of sad that I didn't get to do it, because it sounds like something that was very, very fun.
So we'd meet up regularly, a bunch of friends of ours. We used to play a lot of Counter Strikes. This was just when, I guess, just before broadband became a thing in the UK. And yeah, we used to meet up. We would regularly do a weekend of it. So take our PCs down to another one person's house. When I was a single man, this was, and we all kind of We are all rented or owned houses, single friends, so we would take turns in lumping all of our to other people's houses. Back when taking your monitor to somebody else's house was not a trivial undertaking, as you can imagine. Like, I had a 21-inch CRT monitor, so that was a big deal. But we'd all get there, and I used to liberate a decent sort of 100 meg switch from work when I was working in the steward, and we'd connect up to that and we would play, and then we'd all go home, go to the pub like 7 o'clock on Saturday night, home, get up Sunday morning, all go back and carry on playing Sunday, which is great fun. And we also arranged like a proper event in the local theatre. One of my friends was manager of the theatre, so we had people coming from all over. Like, I think we had maybe 50 people came and brought their PCs, and we did a full tournament, which was brilliant fun, actually. That involved drinking too. But I loved LAN parties. I really, there was something unique that you'll never see that again now. I think those days are gone. And it's a shame. It really is. There's something about playing computer games socially, in person, that is intriguing, and which is why we got a number of switches coming into Dutch PHP conference next month, and we're hoping to kind of do something similar to Mario Kart there. But yeah, ironically, there's something about playing multiplayer games in the same room that is really cool, that you don't really tend to do very, very often.
Yeah, I think I said it in the Switch episode. I think the Switch is going to bring a revival to the in-person co-op or in-person play. Even if you've got like Mario Kart with like 4 Switches all playing in tandem, you're all in the same room, and that's a much different experience than playing online. Because I could play a game with you online, but that's completely different than sitting in the same room playing a game with you.
It's the thing about the LAN was we only spend about 50% of our time actually playing games, and 50% you were just shooting the shit, ordering pizza, having a beer or a soft drink, and let's have the game, right? Come on, then. That was the joy of it, which I really made. It was a good call, check. Maybe we can do something similar at a conference that we're all attending soonish. We can do something, maybe we can bring our Switches, or we can get something similar running, because that would be really cool.
Yeah, and since we all carry laptops, it should be much easier than carrying a 21-inch flat screen CRT, which is what I used to have, which I could not imagine being like, I'm going to my friend's house, take that big giant monstrosity out.
It was a case of me needing to borrow my dad's estate car in order to be able to fit her in the boot. That is the truth as well. So
I believe that is the most. I think that's the most British sentence you have ever said. I'm taking the estate car, and I had to put it in the boot. Wow!
Thank you.
I don't know who you are.
I'm not American. You know that, right? That's
I know.
Like part of my makeup. We met. I haven't been American ever.
Yes,
I know. Doesn't accent give it away or anything. So.
Okay, well, I think my dogs are.
It's cool.
I think my dogs are telling me that it's time to wrap this up. I don't think we have anything.
Your dogs
else.
have been telling you that. Your dogs have been telling you that for about 20 minutes.
They have. I ignored my dogs.
Good. So, thank you for joining us, episode 30 of Jerks Talk Games, the most interactive episode ever for 2 people. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at GH. You can follow Chris on Twitter at Tank. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Jerks Talk Games. All the episodes we have done can be found on Jerks Talk Games. All the episodes we've ever done can be found on jerkstalkgames.com. And there's a Slack channel there if you want to come hang out and just talk about some games. You'll find out there too. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Gary. And don't forget to save your game.